All right, today is February 11, 2021. This is the meeting of the Kubernetes Storage Special Interest Group. As a reminder, this meeting is public, recorded, and posted on YouTube. Let's jump into the agenda. So today we're going to go over the 121 planning spreadsheet, items that this SIG is working on, and get status updates. In addition to that, if there's anything that you would like to discuss, feel free to go ahead and add it to the agenda doc below. If you are a member of Kubernetes SIG Google group, you should have access to be able to add to this doc. So before we jump into the planning spreadsheet, I wanted to remind folks of where we are in the cycle. So we just passed the enhancement freeze this week, which was on Tuesday this week. And what this means is that any features that the SIG is working on must be declared officially by this date and have their design docs reviewed and merged, including production review and API review. And so today, hopefully you can get an update on which items, which tasks that we committed to were able to make that deadline. The next upcoming deadline is March 9, in just shy of a month, which is code freeze for the features that we are working on. So switching over to the spreadsheet, let's get status updates. First up is from Hemant on delegate FS group to CSI driver instead of Kubelet.
All right, Hemant is not here, so I think this one still waits for the feature merged in the CSI spec, but as far as I know, the cab has been merged.
Sweet.
But what do you mean? What deadline are we facing on the CSI spec side?
Well, I don't think there is any deadline, just before the Kubernetes freeze.
Got it. I guess it's waiting for the next release or getting merged in the next CSI release.
The CSI spec PR is out and available for review, and I've reviewed it. So, like, I don't see any reason why, if the KEP is merged, we couldn't also merge the CSI spec change, release the new CSI spec, and do the Kubernetes coding.
It's a different community, the CSI spec.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying I don't think it's dead. Maybe it won't happen this release, but I don't see why it couldn't.
I'll take a look at the CSI side of things and see if we can get it moving. Next item is CSI online offline resizing. This was basically fixing issues. Any update on this one, Jan?
I think Hemant has some help from other guys in the community, and they are nailing down what needs to be fixed. But I don't remember.
I've been working on expansion issue, and I have sent Hemant with a draft PR of the fix, and I'm hoping to get an update on that soon.
Nice. Do you mind adding your name to dev lead here? You can put a comment next to Hemant. Or actually, we'll move Hemant to reviewer.
I don't think I have access to write anything, but if you could write down my name, it's Sungjun, S-U-N-G-J-U-N.
Sure. Perfect, thank you. Next item is recovering from resize failure.
There was also
Sorry, I'm mute. No update, I think.
Okay, no worries. Then we have SE Linux recursive permission handling.
No update there.
Okay. Then we got CSI entry read-only handling. Last status here is Chang is working on part of this, and I think that is still the case. And he's going to look into what other outstanding work there was. Okay. Next up is issues related to assuming volumes are mount points. The last status update here was we needed an owner. There was several PRs, work in progress. Jing was reviewing. Any new updates on this? Okay. Next item is storage capacity tracking for pod scheduling. Patrick? Looks like Patrick is not with us today. So anyone else have an update on this one?
There's also a CSI spec change for this one that I think I approved.
Okay.
But yeah, it depends on getting that change into the CSI spec.
Okay. Sounds like we need to get a couple of CSI changes in and get that new version cut as soon as possible.
Yeah, I spent like 3 hours yesterday afternoon reviewing CSI spec PRs.
Nice.
Need more people doing that.
Yep. We need to look into how to scale that. Okay, next item is PVC inline ephemeral volumes with CSI driver. Any updates on this?
The cap merged, so I think it's just the implementation now.
Thank you, Michelle. Next item is CSI ephemeral volumes.
Actually, the one above, the storage capacity one, cap is also merged.
Sweet. Okay. Next item is CSI ephemeral volumes.
Yes, this continues to be no no update. Anyone who wishes to help out would be welcome. Current plans are to work in the second half.
Okay, let's go ahead and cross this one out for tracking for this cycle, and then we can revisit it for the next cycle if anybody wants to pick it up. If not, we can come back to it in H2.
That sounds good. Thanks.
There's a strike through button here somewhere. There it is. Okay, spreading over failure domains. I don't think we've made any progress on this, right, Shing?
Yeah, no, this one is because it depends on the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the next one I have done a few updates.
Okay.
Yeah, so I should schedule a review meeting again.
Cool. Next item is CSI out of tree, move iSCSI driver, fit and finish. Michelle will follow up with volunteers. Karen may be willing to help. Christian or Karen, no update last cycle. Any updates on this one?
Oh, sorry, I haven't had a chance to look into this, but
Okay.
I'll try to get to.
No
Get on that.
worries. And NFS provisioner, NFS client, Karen? Okay, we'll go ahead and skip over those two. Next item is volume snapshot namespace transfer.
An issue and KEP were filed for this. KEP outlines the currently proposed design. There hasn't been much activity or comments on it yet, but it's proposed for implementation in 122. So I think we're on track.
Sounds good. And if it would help and things are moving too slowly, feel free to kind of schedule a meeting to review.
Understood.
All right, next item is CSI volume health. I understand this is the KEP was merged.
Yeah, the KEP is merged, but we're actually going back to alpha because we made one design change. We're moving the the volume monitoring from external agent to kubelet. So we actually added a feature gate. So now it's back. The controller is still the same, but the node side will be changed. So we keep with we just staying at alpha. Yeah, and Ranshi is going to make the code changes.
Sounds good. Thank you. And next item is volume populator data source. Ben?
Yeah, the KEP for this is merged, and we're on track for implementing it in 121. The one thing is, Tim Hawken had suggested that he wanted to continue discussing some of the API, some of the corner cases in the API design, and I don't know if we can get him to show up at our Tuesday meeting, or if we need to schedule a one-off meeting for that. Did you ever hear back when you suggested he comes to the Tuesday meeting?
I have not heard back on that. If you poke that email thread again and ask him, we should be able to get a response.
Yeah, I'll encourage him to come to the Tuesday meeting, and if he says no, then we'll try something else.
Yeah, I think just scheduling his calendar is difficult, but yeah, he'd be. We can find some time with him. Next up is Cozy. Jeff or John or Sid?
Yeah, this is Srini. Actually, API review is in progress for Cozy. We had a one-on-one with Tim Hawken. He has expressed some questions around the mutability of the objects. So we could not hit the deadline for changing the KEP to implementable. So we're going to continue with provisional. We will have more discussion on the mutability issue. So in the meeting after this meeting, and eventually we need to get back to Tim, and we are trying to also bring him up to speed. So planning to have another meeting with him.
Perfect. Okay, so I'll go ahead and mark this as design for this quarter, and hopefully we can get the KEP approved, and then next cycle will be unblocked.
Yeah, that makes sense. Even the development progress has been stalled a little bit because of this design issue with the API objects.
Makes sense. You guys are going through the hardest part of the design review right now, so understandable.
Yep.
Okay, next item is change block tracking. Anyone want to talk to this?
Yeah, so we actually had a design review in yesterday's data protection working group. So we got a lot of good feedback. Yeah, so I think we will need to keep working on it. We actually still need to get some feedback from EBS side on the API, because we couldn't come up with a common API that also support EBS. It's their API is a little different. So I don't know if anyone on this call is familiar with the EBS API. If you are, please let me know.
Hey, Ibeck from AWS here. Feel free to ping me. I can help you, or at least get the right person.
I'm sorry, who is?
It's Ayberk, A-Y-B-E-R-K.
Oh, A-Y-B-E-R-K, okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
What is your, on Slack, what is your?
It is the same.
Oh, okay, all right.
Just my name.
Thank you.
Cool. All right, next item is new read write once access mode, or read write only. Last update here was doing research on this. We'll open a KEP later. Chris, are you on the line? Mm-hmm.
I am. So I have an enhancement issue filed. It's number 2485. There's no pull request opened yet for the actual KEP, but just the enhancement issue. And then I'm just working on a draft of it right now.
Perfect. Thanks, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Oops, I put that in the wrong box. Next item is update topology labels from beta to GA, Jiawei.
Yeah, so this one, the PD says the GC PD part has been done by me, and the other plugins, I think Lila is working on that. I haven't heard back from her.
Yeah, I've been working
I'll
on
be-
the changes
okay.
for Azure Disk and Azure File. So hopefully I'll be
Great.
submitting a PR for that soon.
Yeah, sounds good.
Awesome. Thank you both.
This is Deep. I had a quick question on topology. This is the volume topology, right?
Yes, this is the PV, the topology that on PV. So it used to be failure domain beta something, but right now we're updating that to the GA version, which is topology Kubernetes IO something.
I see, but the topology feature itself is already GA, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I see. Okay. Thanks.
All right, next we're going to move into the CSI migration section. So with the core, Jiawei, you want to give an update here?
Yeah, for the core, I think the only remaining outstanding problem is the matrix. So there are 3 parts around the matrix that I'm changing right now. The first part is to add a field to the CSI sidecar operation duration matrix. So basically add a migrate field there. And the second part is add a migrated file to the storage duration operation seconds matrix. Yeah, that's the second part. The third part is to add a new matrix to Cubelet, which currently I name it CSI Cubelet operations seconds. So basically this one is to capture the CSI operation from the node side. So the existing CSI sidecar operation seconds, it only captures the controller call, a controller CSI call from the sidecars, but the node side operation are all missing, and this one is to cover that. So that's about the matrix. And other than this, I also update the cap. So where I think the error file should be on block. Yeah, I think that's mostly about it for the core.
Okay, thank you. Next item is CSI migration for each of the different plugins. vSphere is up first. Divian. Or anyone else able to give an update on vSphere behalf?
I think we don't have anything new other than we have already discussed. And so we're going to have a meeting with SIG architecture later, just to figure out the deprecation part.
That's right. So yeah, if anybody else on this call is interested, the SIG architecture meeting is today at 11 a.m. Pacific time. So feel free to jump on that if you're interested in discussing the vSphere deprecation topic. Next item is Azure Disk. Andy or Michelle or Jiawei? Azure Disk, Azure File.
I think Azure Disk is remaining as it is. Azure File is being targeted to beta.
Okay.
And I think Andy has a PR out already.
Okay. I'll go ahead and scratch Azure Disk for this cycle since we're not working on it. And then on the GCE side, last update was we'll turn on by default in 121, but remain in beta.
Yep, that is still on track. We looked, there's the two biggest things aside from the metrics that we're working with Yahweh with the core stuff is regional PDs as well as Windows support. There's a minor bug around naming for the regional PDs, which we've identified, and the Windows support we are manually testing, and it seems to work, but we're still working through some issues.
I have a question here. Does it mean that the Kubernetes will have the migration enabled by default in 121? Because the last time the information was that GKE will have it on by default only, and not Kubernetes.
I think we were thinking of turning it on in 121, but there was, we're still, that's still the plan for, so again, this is just for the PD migration. If there's concerns about that, we're definitely willing to hear them, but I don't, at this point, see a reason not to turn it on.
No, I'm just fine. I'm fine. I just want to know what's in Kubernetes and what's in GKE.
Open source versus GKE.
Yeah.
Okay, open source. So it's on by default in open source 121.
That will be the plan, yeah.
Okay, fine. Thanks.
Okay, next item is AWS.
We are now targeting on by default in 122. That's the update I have, but we are getting help from EBS, so we are going to make a lot more faster progress on this.
Awesome, thank you for the update. Next up is OpenStack Cinder.
All right, so I looked for a SIG cloud provider and the work group for OpenStack, and they haven't met for a year. So I asked on the Slack, they want to be enabled by default in the 121, but there is not clear ownership of the tasks that need to be done, like the testing and CI and these kind of things.
Interesting. This sounds like a topic for SIG architecture. It sounds like Cinder has been abandoned.
Well, no, like people are working on it, but I don't think they meet.
Interesting. That is not good.
I will poke more.
Okay. So let's say cool. Thank you for following up on that, Jan. Next is CephFS and CephRBD. Anyone able to get an update on this? I think Humble's been out. He had some personal family stuff that he was dealing with, and hopefully when he gets back, we'll get an update on this one. Next item is ungraceful node shutdown.
Yeah, so I updated the cap. I think I actually just see some comments there. I will continue to work with Ben and Yasin on that.
Cool. Okay, next item is enable user namespace in Kubelet so UIDs get shifted. Last update here was need to follow up on CAP. Anyone have an update on this one? Is Mauricio on the line? Nope. Okay, next item is immutable secrets and config maps. Last status update here where KEPs and PRs are approved. So I need to double check whether they were merged or not, but should be pretty close to.
Yeah, they merged.
They merged, okay. Any outstanding work left?
I don't think so. Maybe documentation.
Okay. Oh, well, we've already marked it as done. Nice. Next issue is address issues with PVC created by stateful set not being auto removed.
Yes, we.
Mhm.
Yeah, so sorry, we got the cap merged for 121. The actual PR change I put in the comment of the cap PR number, the actual PR that
got it.
is merged. Yeah, so it's merged for 121, and we will hopefully make the implementation deadline.
Awesome. Thank you, Matt. It's going to be a nice usability improvement.
Oh, yeah. So I guess sort of one procedural question here. So it turned out we got the cap merged under the SIG apps ownership.
Okay.
I don't know, like, does that mean we want to like transfer tracking over there, or do we not really care that much?
Don't think it matters. Yeah,
Okay.
as long as it's being tracked by the release team, which it is, which means the cap has been merged and it's in the new release spreadsheet, then you're all good.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Cool. Next is volume expansion for stateful sets. I don't think we have an update on this one. Next is execution hook.
Yeah, so Shantian is still updating the caps. He's going to schedule a API review meeting with the team. So I will ping him on that.
Yeah, I think he put, there's something scheduled for this afternoon.
Okay.
Container notifier. I think it's internal for now. Okay. Yeah, it looks like he's following up on it. Next item is split into new repo, the KDS utils mount.
Yeah, this is Srini. I don't have any update, and I'm sure that we will not have any update until the code freeze. C-Advisor has moved to use Moby library for multitel. So once they merge, they do that usually after the code freeze. So I have a PR / hold on it. So once they merge, I will merge my PR. So it's not. Until then, I don't have any work, I think, to do.
Okay, so should we continue to track this for the cycle, or?
Yeah, it will be merged as soon as the code freeze, but
Okay,
that's tricky.
that just depends on whenever that happens. Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Srini. Next item, SIG scheduling prioritization on volume capacity. Michelle or Jan?
The cap has merged for this one.
Nice. Okay, and then finally, user ID ownership in config maps and secrets. Jiawei?
I haven't got a chance to look at this. I'll look at this next week.
Sounds good. All right, thank you everyone for the updates. Now switching back to the agenda. Looks like we don't have any PRs or designs that need review. Miscellaneous, generic tool for CSI, Sandeep. Let me hand it over to you. Do you need to share anything?
I'm not sure if Sandeep is on the call. I actually copied this from last meeting. It looks like he's actually not here. So yeah.
Okay. Maybe we can save it for next time.
Yeah.
You can present it. Okay. So. Okay. Anything else folks want to talk about today? Any follow-ups on items from previous meeting? Okay, then we'll end early and you'll get 25 minutes back in your day. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thanks, Saad.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Take care.